You got to play a good guy pretty soon here. Is there a good guy in your future?
No. No.
Is there a good guy in my future? I mean, there might be. I'm in a state of perpetual confusion right now.
Yeah.
So I know I'm working on some stuff, and oh no, there is a good guy in my future. Deacon St. John. Days
of course.
Gone.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about Days Gone.
We didn't even get into the video game stuff. We went all over the map here.
Well, let me just say real
Yes.
quick, that game's coming out April 26th.
The same day your album is.
Right. Well, my
Right.
album's actually going to come out officially a week and a half later, but
Okay.
the vinyl's going to go on sale on the 26th. And Days Gone, man, I've been working on that game for almost 4 years.
Awesome.
I think, and I am so excited to see it happen because first of all, this is all running on like PlayStation hardware.
Yes.
All this
I tried to
mocap.
get us code today, by the way. I reached out to Sony. I said, "Can we get some code so we can play it together?"
Yeah,
But
so
it's not quite ready.
What's
to
so
send for that.
so interesting about this game, honestly,
Oh,
for
look at
me.
this happy thing.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Nothing bad is going to
It's
happen.
nothing bad at
You're
all.
having a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
It's so lovely. Oh.
The shoot for this,
Oh,
because
no.
we shot 6 hours of cinematics for this. If that
Yes.
gives you any idea of the scale of the game, it's quite large. And this is all sort of from the very fertile imagination of John Garvin, which I didn't get him at first,
Yeah.
or how they work.
Yeah.
So I arrived expecting, where's the script, man? And I'm going to create the character. And we'd shoot a scene, and it was like maybe like Tango and Cash and very quippy and this and that. And then we'd come back, and then we'd shoot another version of that scene, and then we'd come back and shoot it again. And I was like,
What is this?
well, and the thing is, man, like, if it was just my voice, I think I would have been like, all right, I'll roll with it. But because my face was going to be up there,
Yeah.
I have to confess.
First time ever in a video game.
That's the first. Days Gone was the first time they decided to use the actor's likeness. But
I think we got to make that a recurring
yeah,
thing every time you're on the
it was
show.
the first time we invented that. No, it was so I got. I'm going to confess this publicly. I got very moody in say almost the first 9 months of working on that game because I didn't quite understand what's going
There's
on.
pressure on you too, though, right?
And I'm playing a moody character.
Yeah.
And so and what it was, and it wasn't until we'd shot enough and I understood John enough and understood what that he said, dude, you know that we've built, this is the way we shape this. We've built this all into the schedule. We're experimenting.
Right.
And then when he said that, it was like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? How big is this game? And he's like, well, it's big. I'm like, what's the budget? I won't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So once I realized that it wasn't like, oh, we're losing light, we're burning the film, like it wasn't like we had to get everything right.
It was a Sony scaled project.
Dude, I've
Yes.
never been on a Sony scale
Yes.
project, so
Yeah.
I truly did not understand the creative latitude that he had to shape that reality. So we would literally go around and shoot until we settled on a tone that he instinctively knew was right and that I was comfortable with and that Sony, frankly, was comfortable with. And once we did that,
Were they
started
rendering
going,
everything? Were they like making
Sort of.
Okay.
You'd be dressed up in this tight outfit, this mocap outfit, and
Yeah.
you look like a complete douchebag. And you're wearing a helmet cam, and the cam is here, which, by the way, so anytime that I was moody on set or like
was
was
all
angry at
captured.
something, I looked like a real douche. I'm like, what's going on here? And I look like a dick, which really destroys your power in trying to intimidate people. But so, I remember John early
You're
on.
having Christian Bale moments.
Oh,
when
dude.
You're dressed in a condom.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Go, it's off the set, you prick. Yeah. Oh, we're done. Professionally, we're done. I did have a moment like that. It was great. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Ask John. And it was over a stunt and a misunderstanding of whether I would do the stunt or not.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm doing it in the mocap outfit. So, difficult actor in a mocap outfit. But
That's
what's
a show right there.
Oh,
That's-
it's a sitcom.
Totally.
Yeah.
one
Look,
of-
I'm sweating telling you this so you know it's the truth because it's uncomfortable to admit this. But so what it was like understanding that we had the latitude to explore this world and to sort of shape it. And John had the latitude to shoot something, watch it, see if it worked, go back to the drawing board if it didn't.
Yep.
And then what got really exciting is when we locked in on something and then it was like full steam ahead on that idea. And what was cool about that is we checked out the other avenues. So when John settled on it's this,
Yeah.
there was no need to experiment too much because it's like, no, the character is this.
Well-
No, this is how it goes, and this is the tone of the game. And the tone of the game, I got to tell you, extremely adult.
Yeah.
It used to, when we first started shooting, it was actually rather funny, actually, and I'm
Yeah.
not kidding you. Like,
Yeah.
it was very quippy.
Yep.
And then we found a way to fit very realistic, kind of grim gallows humor into this very realistic world. But the whole thing John settled on, that he just kept hammering home, is he's like, no, 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 no. What would it really be like? And I'm like, well, I mean, like these lines. He's like, forget the lines.
Yeah.
Say something like it. I don't care what comes out of your mouth as long as you're telling the truth. And he would get really passionate
That's
about
awesome.
this. And so once the actors kind of got that memo, well, I stopped being a douchebag instead, and became very excited by what we were creating. But dude, again, the learning curve of just not, because if ever I'm on a set and people don't know what they're doing, you go, as an actor, you go, I'm going to get blamed for this. It's my face up there.
Yes.
But that wasn't what was going on here. They were like, dude, what's the problem?
Well,
Like,
and
we're shaping this.
Truthfully, Bend is trying to prove what they can do here
Yeah.
too, right? This is the biggest scale for them too,
Yeah.
and this is a team that has done incredible work in the past,
Yeah.
really dependable, awesome work at a different scale. And it's also post Last of Us, so all of those.
Well, and that was the whole thing.
Yes.
How do you make this different than
Yeah.
The Last of Us?
Yes.
Because they do live there is some overlap there, but not as much as people would think.
Right.
And what I find so gratifying is that we had iteration time.
Yeah.
We really had, like, for
Yeah.
example, if there was something where John would go, you know, we're not quite getting the emotional connection with this character, so here's a few more scenes and some extra side missions.
Wonderful.
And you go, how is it, like, the project started with the scope of like this and only ever got bigger.
Yeah.
Any video game I've ever worked on, the
Yeah.
scope starts like this,
Yes.
and it gets whittled down, and you hope.
Force Unleashed 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. Force Unleashed 1 started
Yeah.
like this.
Yes.
And then, like every game, gets whittled down. But with Force Unleashed 1, this was enough.
Yeah.
Force Unleashed 2
Yeah.
started here, and
Yeah.
we were like, if we can do everything, it'll be enough. But then it got whittled down. You're like, this isn't enough.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not enough.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
much cool.
So with Days Gone, that was my expectation.
Cool.
And that's why I had this sort of like, I don't know, kind of like it's a reaction of like, we got to get this right. And John is like, we get it right when I say it's right. And
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
who are we working for? He's like, Sony. I'm like, what does that mean? And I found out what that means, and I've just never been on a project that was so supported by
They
such
are
a
swinging, man. Like Sony
incredible-
is like trying to make a home run out of everything they put out, and it's
Yeah.
real. Like they're trying to move the needle and the
Yeah.
cultural impact of the titles that they put
Yeah.
out there, like Spider-Man and God of War. And I wasn't a huge Detroit Become Human fan, but you know they're just killing it right now.
It's really cool. And John Garvin, the freedom he gave the actors on the set to, if we came up with a moment or if we improvised something. I mean, again, he was that whole thing keeps ringing in my head, because not a lot of writers
Yeah.
or writer directors will be as generous as to say, no, man, I don't care about the line so long as you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Say something like this.
Yes.
And if there was an important line, he's like, no, I need that exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
That's designed to be and flow in this way, and there's information in there we need. But other stuff, he's like, I want to be surprised.
See, I talked to to John and some of the other guys from Bend about you because they watched our last interview, and I could tell that they had mad respect for your collaborative instincts as well, and
Oh,
that's
that's-
exactly what they wanted. And you know, quite frankly, they don't put the actor's face on the box unless they have that full sort of commitment.
They
there.
should have fired me. I don't know what
No,
they were thinking.
come on.
No, but again,
And it's good for honestly, it's good for games too, that you have this recognizable stature and this face and this commitment, and like you got your own Twitch stream, and like you're in on this, and they're putting you in that position. I think it's fantastic for the business.
Well, it's what was great about it is that they all knew. They knew when they were iterating, they knew when they were experimenting, and then they knew when they were developing and going full forward. And
Yeah.
and so once I caught on to how they were working, I had so much fun. So it was like 9 months of real discomfort.
Yeah.
And then like 3 years of just incredible fun. And also the cast, really, really great folks. In fact, we have we got Courtney Draper, who's got a little bit of history of video games, Bioshock Infinite, and then we have an incredible group of people. We got Phil Morris, the Martian Manhunter from Smallville.
Awesome.
We've got Jason Spizak, who was
Are they all?
Lux Bonteri in
Are
the
they?
Clone Wars.
Is it their faces too? Are they doing that with
Some of
everybody?
them.
Some of them. Okay.
Some of them. but yeah, really, really great cast, really fun. We definitely had a lot of fun, and to say that you had any fun at all in a game that has such grim, challenging elements, it speaks well of Sony Bend.
I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
getting the review code very soon, and it's
Good.
another single-player game, which I think is another great decision on Sony's part and Ben's part.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play as you in another video game. It's crazy.